There are over 110 elements discovered in the world. We have learned that each atom has its own subatomic particles. Observe the nucleus of the two atoms. What can you say about the atoms? The two atoms have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to deduce the number of protons, electrons and neutrons in atoms of different elements. Make generalization on the numbers of protons and electrons in atoms of different elements. State what isotopes are. Give examples of isotopes. Table shows the numbers of protons, neutrons and electrons of atoms with proton number from 1 to 10. Observe the table. What can you say about the number of electrons and the proton number of atoms? The number of electrons is the same as number of protons of atoms. Therefore, the number of electrons is also the same as the proton number in a neutral atom. Observe the nucleon number of atoms, the number of neutrons, and number of protons. Number of proton of the atom is equal to the difference between nucleon number and number of neutrons. Let us learn more about atoms of different elements. Observe the information of a sodium atom. What is the number of protons for sodium? Number of protons for sodium is 11. Can you explain how you got the answer? The proton number of an atom is the number of protons of that atom. The proton number of sodium is 11. The number of electron is also the same as the number of proton. Can you deduce the number of neutrons for sodium? Explain how you got the answer. Nucleon number is the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons. Number of neutrons for sodium can be obtained from the difference between nucleon number and proton number. Number of neutrons for sodium is 12. We can deduce the number of protons and electrons of different elements from our knowledge of proton number and nucleon number. What is the number of protons and electrons for chlorine from the information given? The number of protons and electrons are the same, which is 17. Information from the nucleon number can be used to calculate number of electrons if we know the number of neutrons. The number of proton of nitrogen can be obtained from the difference between nucleon number and number of neutrons of nitrogen. We have learned that number of proton is equal to number of electron in neutral atom. Therefore, number of electrons and protons of nitrogen are both 7. In conclusion, we can generalize that each element has a different proton number. The number of electrons is the same as the number of protons of each neutral atom. However, there are atoms with the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. Picture shows two carbon atoms with nucleon number 12 and 13. the proton number of carbon is 6. Can you explain why the nucleon number is different? The nucleon number is different because carbon atoms have different number of neutrons. Scientists call the two carbon atoms as isotopes. Can you deduce the number of neutrons for the two carbon atoms? Isotopes are defined as atoms which have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. In carbon, there are 3 isotopes existing in nature. They are carbon-12, carbon-13 and carbon-14. These are called isotopes of carbon. The difference among these 3 isotopes is the difference in number of neutron in each atom. Click the picture of carbon to learn more about isotopes. Scientists identify these isotopes by putting the nucleon number at the end. Carbon, which has 6 neutrons and 6 protons, will have nucleon number as 12. The isotope is known as carbon-12. Can you name the isotopes of carbon with number of neutrons 7 and 8? Isotope of carbon with number of neutrons 7 is carbon-13. Isotope of carbon with number of neutrons 8 is carbon-14. Observe the table to learn other examples of isotopes. Some other elements which have isotopes besides carbon are hydrogen, oxygen, and chlorine.
Work in groups of 4. Observe and analyze Table 1. Fill in the empty spaces with the correct number of protons, number of neutrons, number of electrons, proton number, and nucleon number for each element. Compare your answer.
Your answer is incorrect. Your answer is incorrect. This is the correct answer.
Atom of different element has the A. Same number of proton, B. Same number of shell, C. Same number of electrons, D. Different number of protons.
Your answer is correct.
Atom Z has nucleon number 11 and proton number 5. How many electrons, protons and neutrons are present in the atom?
Your answer is correct.
Which two particles in the table are isotopes? A, R and S. B, S and T. C, R and U. D, S and U.
Your answer is correct.
Atom Y has 9 neutrons, 8 protons and 8 electrons. An isotope of atom Y will be written as A, Y8, B, Y16, C, Y17, D, Y20.
Your answer is correct.
Sodium atom has a proton number of 11 and a nucleon number of 23. The number of neutrons in a sodium atom is A, 11, B, 12, C, 23, D, 34,
Your answer is correct.
Diagram shows the atomic structure of two atoms. Answer the following questions using the model as the reference. Name the subatomic particle Z. Neutron. What is the charge for subatomic particle Z? No charge or neutral. Give one similarity of subatomic particle proton and Z. Both have the same relative mass. What is the nucleon number for atom X? 11. What is the proton number for atom Y? 5. Explain why X and Y are isotopes. X and Y have the same proton number but different nucleon number. Y is an atom neutral. The number of protons and the number of electrons are the same.
Click the nucleus of atom. Number of neutrons equals nucleon number minus number of protons. Click the electron of atom. In a neutral atom, number of electrons equals number of protons equals proton number. Click the picture of the atom. Isotopes are atoms which have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. Examples are isotopes of carbon, hydrogen, and chlorine.
Isotopes have many applications in today's world. They are used in medical diagnostics and imaging, cancer therapy, smoke detectors, oil well logging, and research of all sorts. Can you identify other isotopes and their usage? Cobalt-60, a gamma emitter used in irradiators for food and medical equipment sterilization. Sodium-22, used medically in neurological research and commercially as a radiation source. Calcium-42, used in human calcium retention studies. Other stable isotopes of calcium are also used to study bone growth and nutrition.